Good day, grade 11 students. Welcome to our English for Academic and Professional Purposes class. About my question last meeting, what do you call that kind of writing that tells about the position on a certain issue? Okay, you are right. It is called a position paper. Now, um, what is a position paper? A position paper is an essay that presents an arguable opinion about an issue. The goal of a position paper is to convince the audience that your position is valid and worth listening to. Ideas that you are considering need to be carefully examined in choosing a topic, developing your argument, and organizing your paper. And in other words, position paper is the writer's stand or viewpoint in a certain issue. It also entails outlining arguments and proposing the course of action. And aside from that, when you are writing a position paper, you are actually given the power to change the attitudes and opinions of other people. And therefore, when you are writing a position paper, that can be an essential tool in bringing out um, societal change. Now, for example, if you don't agree to a certain issue or rule, you can actually create a or write a position paper out of that to reflect your viewpoint. Another thing is position paper is not just a mere opinion of an individual. It is based on facts that provide a solid foundation or your argument. So you need to give a valid proof or evidences to support your position. Okay. We have here four kinds of position paper. Okay. Let's discuss the first one. The first one is called the expositive writing. It tries to answer questions of the form, what did A say or think about P? Or what did Vice President Leni Robredo say or think about President Rodrigo Duterte? What did A mean in the following passage? Now, this kind of writing consists of summarizing or setting out the ideas given philosopher in your own words. So, here in expositive writing, you are going to expose or describe the situation or the issue. Or if it's a passage or a writing that you are going to describe, simply you have to vent out your emotion out of it. You need to expose or describe how you feel about the issue. The second one is the comparative. Takes up questions like how are positions X and Y similar and how do they differ? What is the relationship between the arguments for X and Y? This writing requires you to defend your claims of commonality and differences. And I think this is the most common one because we tend to compare and contrast two things here. So we give what what are their similarities and differences in a particular issue given. Let's move on the third one, which is the evaluative. It considers the questions such as, is position P plausible? Is the argument for P strong or weak? Now, if the position seems to contradict what we know, or if we can find a case which seems to contradict the position, that's a mark against the position. You are going to give your assumptions or your personal evaluation with a certain issue. Do you think it is strong? Do you think it is weak? And you have to give or state the reasons why you think so. Now let's move on to the fourth one, which is the constructive. Now, unlike expositive, comparative, or evaluative writing, the questions it considers are less directly concerned with pre-existing positions or arguments. I think constructive is the lightest among all other kinds of position papers because here in this part, you are going to give what is your opinion in a certain issue. It will be a free flowing opinion given in the issue. Now, always remember, class, that in defending a position of your own usually involves an analysis and evaluation of particularly relevant and influential work in order to elucidate or advance our own position, carefully supporting our position with argument and responding to actual or potential objections. So we have to be careful with the people who will object with our position. And in order to secure our position, we have to consider pieces of evidences and valid proofs for our position. Now, how are we going to do that? We need to provide realistic evidences or dates and events to support our position. Also, we can examine the strengths and weaknesses of that issue. And we can also give a possible solutions and suggest a course of action. And by doing so, we can assure that our position will be the strong one or will be the valid one. So that is what we call a position paper. Okay. By the way, what are the steps in writing a position paper? The first one is you have to write the introduction. You have to introduce your topic, introduce the topic, and you have to provide background on the topic to explain why it is important. Next one is the body. You have to provide supporting information for counterclaims, and you have to give evidence for arguments. And the third one, we have here the conclusion. You have to restate your argument. Restate the arguments in different words and then discuss its implications. Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think writing a position paper important? Okay, very good. It is to convince the audience that your opinion is valid. It is very important to ensure that you are addressing the key components of the issue and presenting it in a manner that is easily for the audience. Writing a position paper does not only require research skills, but also involves the ability to critically think the information you gather through research. Now, for your activity, you have to write a position paper of your choice about any of the following. Okay, what are the four kinds of position paper again? We have expositive, comparative, evaluative, and constructive. You only have to choose one. And of course, any of your choice, okay, of these following questions or topics. What is your position about the Philippine government response to COVID-19 pandemic? The second one, what is your position about education goes on amid pandemic through DepEd's continuity plan? And the third one, what is your position about death penalty? Okay, please proceed now to the to our Google Classroom, or yes, and then do this activity now, okay, individually, and then turn in via our Google Classroom. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening and have a good day.